Hi, this is Arielle.
And this is Mark.
Well, Mark, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, Arielle.
How's work? Everything is okay?
Work is stressful every day, but that's what we're going to talk about, right? Stress in the workplace.
Well, usually stress and depression is always going to be there no matter what. Either you're at work or either you're not at work. It's everywhere.
That's right. Life has stressful moments every moment, and we just have to learn how to deal with stress. And how we deal with stress is very important.
There's so many ways to actually avoid the stress or depression in life. All you have to do is think positive and always think about that there's life ahead of you. You always think positive. If you don't think about positive and you always think negative, you're gonna go down. You're always gonna be feeling stressed no matter what.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't have solutions at the moment and things feel hopeless or overwhelming, and we have to let those overwhelming feelings and just have a sense of confidence.
Well, the only thing you can actually feel that way when you don't have some positive outcome in your life. Then you always think about negative, like other people out there. Why there's a stress and why there's a depression? Because there's no way out sometimes, because they don't talk to someone else. Like some people has a positive in life. It doesn't need to be a psychiatrist, because psychiatrist people also, they have their own problem.
That's right.
I mean, imagine you're talking to them and then suddenly they're talking bad about you. They also have their own problem. So for you to be able to just get out on the depression and a stressful life is just to be around with positive people. Like go sing, go dance, go around the world, enjoy talking to Mark sometimes, because Mark is you're joyful, you're always being funny, just like that.
It's important to try to make light of stressful situations. Sometimes we're rushing and we're in traffic, and we just have to take a different perspective that hey, this traffic is allowing me to spend more time with myself or with a loved one inside the car. So we're a captive audience where we can spend more time. So it's a matter of perspective.
It's true. The only thing you need, probably a psychiatrist, when there is really something inside of you that you cannot let it out to other people, that you want privacy and you want private people. So that's the psychiatrist will come in. I mean, I don't mean to say that sometimes you don't need a psychiatrist, because if you hang around yourself to a positive people and you just go out and enjoy yourself, because if you read the book, you can actually also feel better, or just be around with some party goers, so you can eliminate that depression and also the stress in life.
Oh yeah, and sometimes we come in contact with very difficult people, and even myself, I went through therapy, and I think one of the most important lessons I learned in therapy was that sometimes people that you come across, if my therapist said, just imagine them as a hurricane. There's nothing we can do about a hurricane, right? I mean, we can't control a hurricane. It's so big.
Correct.
So he said, emotions are like a hurricane. And sometimes when you're dealing with an emotional person, there's no reasoning, there's no explanation that can stop the hurricane. The hurricane and that emotion is going to happen.
Well, actually, I have some friends, right? If I get upset, they just laugh at me. So because they know I'm not serious, they know that I'm just, saying that just because, and after that I'm happy. So you feel the same way, right?
Yeah. So I've taken, a different approach. Sometimes if I approach someone that's too overwhelming and too overpowering with emotion, and they're not listening, and they're not reasonable.
Like me sometimes, right?
Sometimes you just have to either give that person or that emotional space to express itself.
Correct.
Like a hurricane needs to express itself. You can't control it. It's going to happen. So you have to just make sure that you don't get hurt yourself in the process, so you avoid it, go around the emotions, and there's no sense in arguing or trying to fight with the hurricane.
Only sometimes, right?
Well,
you can't avoid that. That's what your therapist says. You cannot avoid it.
Sometimes you can't avoid it.
Yeah. So
But you
it
try
makes
to.
sense. But you try your best to avoid it.
That's correct.
So what can we tell to other viewers out there or the young generation to overcome their, depression, their fears in life, and their stressful in life? Hang around with the positive people.
That's
do
right.
something positive. Do something like you enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Singing, dancing, exercise, eat healthy food.
Yeah, because the tendency is when we encounter problems or an embarrassing moment, we just want to hide or bury our head in the ground like an ostrich.
Yeah. Well,
That's the saying, right?
I don't
Bury
know.
your head in the ground.
This man is a joker, right? Do you think he has a sense of humor? Yeah. Anyway, Arielle and Mark will have a show every week or twice a week. We're gonna feature some of the business that he has. Silver State Health Services. He is the CEO, and they have different locations of their clinic, and we're gonna feature them so that they can go and check, and if they have problems they can access easy. So I know you have many locations now. One is 2965 South Jones, corner Edna in South Jones. That's behavioral and mental health and primary care. And you have also in Gillespie
near South Point.
Near South Point, and that's the name is the same thing, right? Silver State Health.
Health.
Silver State Health, and we also he has also in Pahrump, and you're gonna have 2 locations in Pahrump. So that's coming soon. Also the other one, right?
That's
the medical hospital, and you have also in Boulder. So Arielle and Mark will featuring some of your business, especially on his business now that it's all over Vegas.
Right, and we have one more location at 2121 Flamingo, which is Flamingo and Eastern.
There you go, 2121 East Flamingo, corner Flamingo in Eastern. So there you go. So behavioral and mental health it's common right now. It's like a disease. It's like COVID that it is spreading, and no one can control that. Especially that the young generation, because in the past we have 2 years lockdown, more
That's
than
right.
2 years.
And
lockdown.
a lot of our kids, did school from home.
Yes.
And they didn't have the socialization. They had to be quarantined at home. Even young adults were quarantined at home, and this really created some new opportunities, but at the same time a lot of stress because we miss that socialization.
Correct.
And humans need socialization.
Correct. That's what I just told you earlier, right?
Yeah.
Socialization is especially dancing, singing, chat. But you have to choose who you are going to talk to. If you talk to someone that you can actually cheer you up. Not to make you more depressed.
Yeah. You
Right?
want to hang around positive people.
Yeah, like us. Hang around with Arielle and Mark. We can bring you the movers and shakers. We're gonna talk more business, politics, entertainment, and of course, many things.
That's right.
We can
Everything
go.
mental health and things that can improve your lifestyle and just way of thinking about life, because we can turn things around. Instead of being stuck in traffic and complaining about the traffic, we just have to see it as an opportunity. God puts us in difficult situations for a reason.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but you get to remember in Vegas, right? Everybody asking me. I said, "Hey, where do you live?" Vegas. Oh my God, isn't it? It's hot there and cold, and it's like, yeah, but everybody wants to live in Vegas,
Yeah.
right? So what do you think is that? Are we having a depression or stress in life because of the heat and the cold?
I don't know. A lot of people are moving from California and moving to Vegas. I think Vegas offers a lot more than just the casinos and the strip. There's family life, and there's a lot to do for young kids, and so young kids and young adults have a lot of opportunity to socialize.
We're gonna show Vegas one day.
Yes.
We're gonna show Vegas one day. Arielle and Mark will be showing you what's lives in Vegas and where to find a good food, where to eat a good food here in Vegas. We're gonna feature that.
Right.
And of course, it's sponsored by Silver State Health Services, primary care and behavioral and mental health. So we can actually help them to recoup on their problem. So just send it to Silver State Health Services.
That's right. And we look forward to seeing you. And we have a lot of testimonials from past clients that we would like to feature and share their stories and how Silver State helped them through the journey of their life and dealing with very difficult topics like suicide, dealing with depression and anxiety. And we're coming out with some new technology and tools to help people train their minds to be mindful. Because if we're mindful, we can get rid of thinking about past stresses or the anxiety of future things to come. And so being mindful and being in the moment is so key for our mental health. So we have some new tools that can help
I
with
was
that.
thinking about that. Maybe we can feature the Oculus. Oculus is the best technology that you can actually make yourself at ease or make you feel like you're having freedom.
Yeah,
you know.
It's basically virtual reality, and the Oculus lens just puts you in a whole new world, essentially, in a whole new reality, and allows you to train your mind in combination with the MindLink tool that in parallel with the Oculus. We can actually measure the brain waves and basically train the brain through neural feedback to condition it for either mindfulness or relaxation.
Correct. And probably to avoid also drinking all this medicine. Just focus on eating healthy. According to the health and science, you focus on eat vegetable, all nutrition, and of course make yourself happy. Don't think about negative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, when we dwell in the past and we have the stress of the past and we have the anxiety of the future, it drives us to do things that we shouldn't, like over drinking or doing other things. So moderation.
A lot of people are drinking because they are having a stress or depression or anxiety, and they think that's a solution.
Right.
Like so many billionaire artists, they don't know where to put their money, so they're feeling like, how are they going to spend the money and how they're going to do it? There's so many things that really can avoid.
Right. Yeah. So if we can just appreciate the little details and appreciate each other, life is rich and there's a lot of opportunity and there's lots of excitement every day.
Well, you think so you can adapt that to yourself, right?
Yes, I tell myself that every day. New things to discover every day.
You should adapt that to yourself so that you don't have that anxiety and depression and getting mad to your people. But anyway, that's part of our life, you know what I mean? As your psychiatrist said, pretend that it's a tornado or a hurricane that you can avoid or you can avoid. You can't avoid and you can avoid. There's two things, right?
That's right. So that's helped me deal with difficult people.
Though I'm one of the people. Oh my God. But anyway, watch out, Arielle and Mark. We'll be featuring almost every week what's going on to Silver State Health Services. They have a lot of psychiatrists can help your emotion to become happy, or no more depression or no more anxiety.
That's right. We tend to avoid difficult situations, but hopefully some of these new tools can help us face life head on and deal with conflict and not be afraid.
Correct. So stay tuned. We're gonna bring more the Movers and Shakers, and we will be bringing entertainment, politics, community, and many more. What do you think about that?
I love it.
Yeah?
Yep.
So let's feature in each of your location Hopefully we can do that before the Masquerade Gala. Don't forget, the Sterling Club, October 29. That's going to be Turnberry Tower Sterling Club here in Paradise Avenue. And of course, that's going to be the first fundraising of Silver State Health Services. That's going to be October 29 at 6:30 p.m. And we have a lot of artists and a lot of people to meet in auctions.
Right. And this is a gala to raise awareness of the homelessness that's occurring in today's society. We have so many middle class families that are one mortgage or one rent check away from getting kicked out of their homes or their apartment, and they end up in the street and they don't know where to go. And so Silver State is trying to build a safety net for some of these people to get them reintegrated back into society. And so this is a fundraiser not only to deal with mental health, but to deal with everyday stresses of life.
Correct. Hey, also the beauty about it is the Diversity Chamber of Commerce. I have a lot of people are very interested. In fact, we're sending a message this week for us to get together because Maria wants to get involved. So there's so many people wants to get involved. Alejandro from UNLV wants to get involved.
Right.
So these are the people who has also knowledge how to get some money from to support and help the needs of each and everyone.
Yes, and Silver State Health Services provides the health component, and we're teaming up with Diversity Chamber of Commerce to provide a more holistic approach to serving the community.
Yeah, and I like that because if you're not teaming up to any organization and you work alone, it's just like you cannot sustain the need of the massive, people around you. You need to have at least a wing to help one another.
That's correct. Silver State is really focused. Our niche is mental health and primary care. And so we want to team up with organizations that can address some of the other aspects, like housing and welfare issues and utility bills. There's so many elderly people that can't afford their utility bills. And what do they do when in the summer when it's so hot? How do they get out of the heat?
Well, actually, you mentioned about that. Since the LCE also, we have a tiny houses from Tony Blair. He is actually a manufacturer. He actually a wholesale distributor of tiny houses. So that's part of a LCE contract.
Wonderful.
So
if we can keep some of these people out of the hot summer heat, that would be wonderful.
We have so much land that the BLM, the government can actually donate to help them to minimize or maybe remove some of these mental people in the street or the homeless, that if they donate their time to us to understand us what we're trying to do in their community, this should help us.
Yes, it's a difficult problem. I've seen many people try to do tiny home projects, and it requires a community. So we would like to work more with diversity to see if we can figure how that can work.
If the government were actually look at it that the project is really going there, they should at least, we will support you.
Yeah, one of the things that I feel like governments tend to say, we like the idea, but not in my backyard. I think there's a sense of fear from having a successful program because some people may think of it as a magnet for homeless people, and so I think there's a dynamic that so we have to solve. There are a lot of difficult problems that we have to solve because although we want to help people, everybody wants to help people, but not in their backyards. And so that's a challenge that we'll have to try to figure out.
I think if you look at it, I know the land in Las Vegas are so huge. I know the land in Parama is so huge. I know the land in farther Mesquite probably is so huge. If we team up together, the community, the government, it will work. It will minimize the problem. But if they don't want to team up with us, the problem is still going to be there. It will rise. Rise.
Yeah. It's a difficult situation. Is it state funded or is it city funded? So BLM is state land. So it sounds like you're suggesting, or federal land. And so, are you suggesting that?
I'm not suggesting. I'm asking them, especially. Governor says a lot. He's rerunning for the re-election. He keep promising that he will not neglect Nevada. He will not neglect the workers. He will not neglect the homeless. He will not neglect the mental health.
Yeah.
Why not put that together in one pot and said, okay, here you go, I release this, I release that. Or here you go, BLM, here's the land. Go ahead, build the land for this homeless.
Yes. So it'd be a nice question to ask Sisolak and see what his opinion is.
Yes, why not, right?
Yeah, it's a good idea and it's a good vision, and so I think with that vision, then small businesses can organize and kind of work with the government.
And maybe we can bring the small businesses when we interview them. If we can invite the massive community, this is his time to answer them. This is his time to deliver.
Right, because so many tiny home projects have failed, and so we don't want to be another failure. We want to do it the right way.
Correct. Well, once again, this is Arielle.
And this is Mark.
Stay tuned with us. We're going to come back every week and you will see us on more feature on small businesses and many other things here in Las Vegas. And to come to your other state, let us know. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.